While I enjoy most aspects of content creation, audio really isn't one of them. So when it comes to any kind of audio recording, I try to take the path of least resistance. Whatever is easiest. After an issue popped up with my Shure MV7, the PM500 from Maono showed up at my door. So today we're going to take a look at it and see how it stacks up to some of the other streaming content creator focused microphones out there. My main mic for a long time has been the Shure MV7. I really love this microphone. It offers two outputs in the form of USB and XLR, as well as a 3.5mm output for connecting directly to my camera. Unfortunately, the USB connection is micro USB, and a pretty flimsy one at that, so just about 2 months ago, the connector broke off from the inside. This left me incredibly frustrated to find out that Shure wanted to charge me $175 to fix the microphone, which is crazy because for the record, I can buy a brand new one for not much more than that. But this video isn't about the MV7. Not long after that, Maono reached out and asked me if I wanted to take a look at the PM500. Given that I was pretty salty with Shure at the time, I jumped at the opportunity. Truthfully, I had not heard of Maono until they reached out to me, and I was surprised to find out that they have a pretty robust lineup of audio solutions, all seemingly well priced and well reviewed on Amazon. So I was really excited at the prospect of some new audio gear. Inside the box, you get your microphone, a shock mount, pop filter, a decent length XLR cable, and a surprisingly robust stand. Right out of the box, I'm really impressed with how this microphone looks. I've owned my fair share of XLR microphones, and it can be a pretty mixed bag. Some of them are heavy and made out of metal and feel really robust in the hand. Others are made out of plastic and feel really cheap. So it was nice to see that the PM500 has an all-metal construction and has a really good weight to it. The shock mount is sturdy and robust, and while it is made out of plastic, most shock mounts are. And I've run into issues in the past with some of the cheaper shock mounts. The way they mount the strap is just kind of like with these hooks, where the strap kind of just sits on top of them, and those can come loose really easily. That's not going to happen with this shock mount. The bands are woven into the shock mount, which means they're not coming loose, they're not falling out. The pop filter is also made out of mostly metal, which is a nice touch. Most aftermarket pop filters are kind of just this add-on thing where you clip it on and it's got this long stretching arm, and it just kind of looks like some kind of a wart on your microphone. This has a really interesting design where it's basically implemented into the shock mount, and once it's attached, it looks like a complete setup, not just something tacked on as an afterthought. You can tell a lot of thought and care was put into the design of this microphone. The PM500 can be found on Amazon right now for $149.99. And there's a lot of competition in that space. There's a lot of microphones around that $150, $200 mark. But with this package, you get everything you need with the exception of an audio interface. If you've never owned an XLR microphone, they sometimes aren't exactly plug and play. Some require what is known as phantom power. These days, a good amount of even entry-level audio interfaces support phantom power, so just make sure the one you're buying supports it or the one you already have supports it. There's usually a label indicating as such directly on the audio interface itself. I've been using a Behringer UM2 for a while as I haven't really had a need to upgrade it, which can be found for about $50 on Amazon, and it's served me well for its purpose. Because listening to my own voice always sounds like nails on a chalkboard to me, I tend to minimize the amount of time spent doing any kind of audio editing. Throw a quick denoise on, maybe a compressor, that sort of thing, and then just leave it. Which is why I like the Shure MV7 and its USB input. I didn't have to do anything to it. I just had to plug it in, make sure the volume was right, and that was it. So many other microphones I have to adjust the levels and make sure everything is just so, or spend some kind of post-editing process on the audio. But not with that microphone. That was until the USB port broke. So rather than going through a whole thing with that microphone, it did have the XLR output as well, which I decided to give a shot. And I was not happy with the results. Shure does offer a post-processing app that you can utilize when plugged in via USB. I have to assume that that has something to do with it. But you can't utilize this using the XLR output. So at that point, I decided to plug in the PM500 and was surprised with the results. It sounded way better than my Shure MV7 right out of the box. And so let's take a listen to some of the sound tests. This is the Shure MV7 straight into the Behringer UM2 with a gain at about 60%. While I don't think it sounds terrible, I do get a bit of a tinny sound coming from the high end, and it's really hard to keep the plosives from causing issues. Now, I've found that it can be a real struggle finding the perfect mix of gain and volume, as if I go too high, I end up with lots of background noise and picking up sounds from everywhere, from my desk, all sorts of things. If I turn it down low, I ended up needing to get way too close, and those plosives start to come back in a pretty bad way. This is the Maono PM500, again, directly into the Behringer UM2, and right away, I feel like there is a big difference in how warm and rich the audio sounds over my Shure MV7, and even mics like the Audio-Technica AT2035. Mics like that are a pretty direct comparison to the PM500 in terms of build quality, overall feel, and price, but I feel like specifically for vocals, I really prefer the unedited sound of this microphone over most others that I've had in the past. Plosives can still be an issue depending on my distance between the microphone, but they aren't nearly as pronounced as they are with the MV7. And so yeah, I was pretty stunned with the results. All I did was plug the mic into the audio interface and boom, I was ready to go. Minimal noise, just a great sound altogether. It really gives microphones like the MV7 or Audio-Technica's AT2020 or 2035 a run for their money. And after being blown away with the performance of the PM500, I decided to take a look at what else Maono offers. I was surprised to find out that they have what seems like an endless list of audio products, from desktop vocal microphones to audio interfaces to lav mics to conference room speaker combos. They have wireless audio solutions, which actually might be a great replacement for the current setup I have now. Now, obviously, I can't comment on the quality of every single one of their products, as I haven't gotten the opportunity to try them out yet. I have a feeling that I am definitely going to be checking out more of their products in the near future. They even have what appears to be a direct competitor to the MV7 in the form of the PD500X, which is in pre-order right now. It's got everything I'm looking for with the USB out and the monitoring that allows me to plug into my camera. I'm really excited about that microphone. Oh, and the USB output is USB-C. The PM500 seems like a great choice for those wanting to beef up their audio setup and want something a little more robust than just your standard run-of-the-mill USB microphone. For $149.99, you're getting everything you need with the exception of the audio interface. But pairing this with something like the Behringer UM2 for $50, you get a really great audio solution for about $200. So if you're someone who's interested in getting into the fast-growing market of content creation or streaming, pairing this with an entry-level interface like the UM2 or the Focusrite Scarlett Solo creates a really great setup. In fact, Maono themselves have what appears to be a really great interface. I just can't comment on it as I haven't gotten my hands on one yet. Thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like on this video if you can, or a comment. Let me know, do you own any of Maono's other products? Please let me know how they are. I'm really excited to try some of these out. Stuff like the audio interface, their wireless mic setups, all that stuff. Thank you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.